The U.S. Air Force is stepping up its preparation for future conflicts, launching its largest ever combat exercise in the Pacific territory of Guam. Named Resolute Force Pacific, or REFORPAC, the exercise involves over 400 aircraft and 12,000 personnel from the U.S. and allies, including Australia. It's being held just 3,000 kilometers north of Darwin and coincides with Talisman Sabre exercises in Australia. According to the U.S. Air Force, the goal is to test how quickly Allied air power can be deployed across vast distances, under pressure, in contested environments. At Andersen Air Force Base in Guam, hundreds of fighter jets and support aircraft have been flying in and out over the past 2 weeks. Colonel Charles Dan Cooley described it as an exercise of unprecedented scale, saying, "We're focused on regional stability, combat readiness, and this is our chance to practice." But some observers say the message is clear. This is aimed at China. The Air Force even promoted a social media post claiming the exercise demonstrates how it would fight and win in tomorrow's battlespace. Though no enemy was named, experts argue the intent is obvious. There's little effort to hide the fact that this is directed at China, said Leland Bettis, director of the Pacific Center for Island Security in Guam. Despite the language of deterrence, the operational focus is on combat. The drills follow recent remarks by U.S. Defense Undersecretary Elbridge Colby, who urged allies like Australia to clarify whether they would commit troops in a possible conflict over Taiwan. Guam, identified by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth as America's most critical strategic base in the region, is also seen as vulnerable. Bettis said, REFORPAC reflects the U.S. plan to disperse its forces quickly in case Guam becomes a target.
Responsibility as the Defense Department to be leaning forward and prepared. And Guam, central and vital to those preparations. So I want to thank everybody here for their civilian commitment to what has to happen and what is happening here at Guam. Strengthening civilian infrastructure underpins the ability for military buildup, and it has to be done working together. So I want to thank you.
He pointed out that Tinian and Saipan, nearby U.S. territories, now house significant aviation assets. This suggests a shift toward a distributed strategy, moving forces across multiple bases in anticipation that some might be unavailable during a conflict. Colonel Matt Johnston from Eielson Air Force Base in Alaska added that the scale of the Pacific presents major logistical challenges. Our fighters don't carry much fuel, so we have to plan for multiple refueling runs just to complete missions and return safely," he said. "We're learning valuable lessons from that." All of this comes as the U.S. shifts its Pacific strategy. With major cuts to use said under the Trump administration, America's presence in the region increasingly wears a uniform, not a diplomatic suit. Without soft power like you said led diplomacy, Bettis explained, military buildup becomes the dominant face of U.S. engagement. As regional tensions rise, REFORPAC is a clear signal. The U.S. and its allies are preparing, not just to deter, but to fight, if necessary.